analyze things, not some long risk, high magnitude thing in the future. Additionally, his second argument is another allusion to Faust, which absolutely has no warrants. Then he said there's also no answer to our impact defense. This is going to be crucial here because the fact that we have read cards about the fact that volcanoes do not increase, that innovation solves back large-scale normative problems, and the fact that things can become sustainable in the long run, kind of deter and hedge back against their large-scale impacts. Right?
Can you put together a 1AC?
Yeah, sure. And I mean,
the 1AC?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you want to have some?
Yeah. Okay.
Did you bring this card? You sure?
I did.
Okay.
These are the cards.
I'm trying to find the smartest cards.
There you go.
It's gonna be hard to understand. Okay. So first I'll be going to the case debate and then I'll be going to the dissent. On the case debate, it first extended our Zubrin and McKay card talks about how Mars can be terraform, which means that even though there's a small amount of water on Mars, we'll still be able to use that water to make more water for a space colony to exist. Second, they don't have any arguments that are responsible. Once again, then the 2AC argument talks about how our cars are more qualified, which means that we can actually talk about this while all their cars are from unqualified people that are able to make this claim. Next, oh, only 2 minutes. Okay. Next, on the next argument. All right, next on the next argument talks about how our volcanoes won't erupt and how in a real world policy makers make policies based on time frame. That's clearly not true. Like think about the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan, it was all made on the magnitude, which proves that this argument is not the case. Means you must consider our arguments because it talks about how we don't do anything now, how a volcano and asteroids have the chance of erupting, which means that it will erupt in the short term. Also, it talks about how these impacts will lead to the human population being extinct, and how the only way we can actually solve this is by moving it into space. Next, extend across. The next argument is that humans can change their minds, consumption patterns, but one, this still won't solve overpopulation, which is also causes rising consumption patterns. Also, extend across the argument that human causes will lead to extinction. It means the only way we can actually escape this extinction is to move in space. So let's try that. On to the economy. First, extend our U.S. economy is dying. This is the AP 11 cards. Gives a couple of reasons. First is the sharp rise in energy prices. It's slowing growth. Second is the sharp decrease in demand for manufactured goods. And third is how the United States economy is quickly running out of steam. Although they try to make all these arguments of why the economy is doing well, this is not enough. And also because of the rise in gas price, that means it counteracts all the reasons why the economy was doing good in the first place. Second, extend across the argument that says that Congress won't stop spending now because in order for politicians to gain votes, that means they propose spending on plans that say, yes, you vote for me and I will endorse your project. That means that people in Congress uniquely won't stop spending. Second, extend across the argument that talks about how economic wars do not escalate. This is Benefit Nordstrom talks about how countries won't engage in war, only engage in war when it's cheap conflicts, and talks about how uniquely that they won't be able to engage in these wars. Also,
that's time.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right. We win this debate because there's absolutely no risk of extinction. Extend the one in our defense about how there's a low probability of an asteroid hitting the Earth or volcanoes even erupting. They ignore the fact that the things that made other species go extinct don't apply to humans, because humans can do things like produce their own food, which drastically increases the survivability probability of the probability of humans being able to survive on their own. On the case, you should extend our argument about why sustainability efforts mean that there's no reason for us to ever leave the planet and go somewhere else. Things like green movements and recycling efforts and policies that are in place to prevent things like overpopulation all means that there are no reason to actually leave our Earth, that we can in fact take care of it. Additionally, we're safe on Earth. If we go to Mars, for example, Mars doesn't have any water. That water is trapped in rocks, and we don't have an energy source that's able to get it out, nor does it provide enough water for everyone else. Additionally, it doesn't have atmospheric layers, which means that it's more susceptible to things like asteroids actually hitting it. All of those are reasons why we're more safer on Earth. And even if they have a good reason for why we should go to space, their own evidence says that we have about half a century until an asteroid or volcano actually threatens us. That means that we have time to stabilize our economy before ever making any efforts to try and go to space. Now I should go to the spending disaster. You should vote on this argument for very simple reasons. They concede our argument that if the U.S. economy is weak, then the military is the first thing that suffers. And without our military, we can't do things like stop terrorism, prevent small conflicts, or even conflicts that would even go bigger. These are all things that are more imminent threats to human survival, reasons why you should vote on it. They say that Congress won't stop spending, but they conceded my argument that Congress is in fact hoping to win the next election, so they don't want to spend any more money because they want to say that we weren't the ones that caused the debt. And they said the economy is doing bad because of energy prices and manufactured goods, but our argument, which is a better indicator of how the economy is doing, is employment. People are gaining jobs and consumption is up. That means our economy is doing better. If you vote for them, they spend money that crashes our economy.
The order is the colonization advantage and then the spending mishap.
Is everyone good? Magnitude should be the filter through which you assess every impact in the debate. If there's a great difference between near extinction and complete extinction, what I mean by that is if some people survive a cataclysmic event, that means that reproduction is possible. But if everyone is killed, that means that humanity is doomed, period. We've isolated a number of reasons why all of humanity could die. Asteroids, supervolcanoes, methane hydrates, nuclear wars, climate change, disease. Some of these are not even mentioned in the 2NR. Others are not mentioned in the entire debate. But all of these have a relatively low probability of causing extinction. Now, if you combine the relative probabilities of them all causing extinction, the impact of that is greater. We are not going to win that we solve all of space colonization, but we will win that we solve a substantial amount of it. Stephen Hawking and other preeminent experts say the technology is feasible and possible to solve. Additionally, status quo technology might not be sufficient, but we can always develop new technology to terraform other planets. Additionally, Jonathan is very good on this argument, and so is the 2NR, but we only have to win a relatively small risk that we are able to colonize space to win the debate. Spending dissent. Even if they were to hypothetically win all of the dissent, that would not be relevant. They have not isolated a reason why total extinction would result as a result of economic decline. The cross-ex of the 2 and C made the argument that international institutions would either solve war, or there are other causes of extinction, or other causes of war which causes extinction, like religious and ethnic tensions, which inevitably cause extinction. That means that they're in a double bind. Second of all, the economy is doing quite well in the status quo. Or the economy is not doing quite well in the status quo. Stocks are declining, the growth rate's declining, there's high unemployment, energy costs are increasing, and there's not much liquidity in the market. Even if we don't win that claim, they've really not answered the question that Congress will inevitably spend money. Democrats will always want to appease constituents by spending on entitlement programs, and Republicans will always want to spend on the military, which is an independent reason why we would always spend to stop terrorism or conflict, because rationality would intervene in those circumstances.